Alright, another just fun vid I want to do for the 20th anniversary. Instead of doing a top 5 like I did with my top 5 arcs, which I'll show again, I'm going to rank the One Piece sagas. So like, if you don't know, the sagas would be like the collections of arcs that build a greater story. So that'd be like East Blue, Alabasta, Water 7, Enies Lobby, or I just call that Water 7. Those are like the sagas in One Piece. And since there's so few of them, I think there's less than 10 in total. I don't know the exact number, but I just want to rank them all because I can get to each one of them in this video, and I want to do less rambling than in the last video. But first of all, I do have to count the sagas, and I should have done that before the video started, but whatever. We got East Blue, we got Alabasta, fucking forgot Skypiea. We got Skypiea, so that's 3. We got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 now with the newest one. And you know, I'm not even gonna preempt this anymore. We're gonna start out with number 9, and you know, we all know what it is. No surprise there. Number 9, Fishman Island. Don't want to spend too much time talking on this one. And I think it shows how good the series is that my number 9 is Fishman Island, and it is a saga. It really is one arc. It's a pretty short saga, but it is a saga that I really do enjoy. Just not as much as the other ones. It's just the villains to me that really get to me. Like, all the major villains in that arc just sucked, and everything else was just like pretty good. There's some stuff that, like, you know, the whole Sanji nosebleed thing, or we all know that wasn't too good. And the backstories were actually really good. The Fisher Tiger and Shirahoshi backstory stuff. The fights were okay. It was just really to showcase all their new powers, which it did, and I'll give it that. But again, to me, it was the main villains that really ruined it. Vanderdecken and Hody Jones fucking sucked as villains. I haven't really looked into the arc too deeply, and a lot of other people will bring up many more reasons why they don't like it, and they're all valid. I've heard a lot of the reasons. Can't really think of too many off the top of my head because, again, it's not an arc I've looked too much into. And a lot of the stuff I do disagree with. Like, as a whole, I can appreciate the arc a lot. It's just not as much as the other ones, and it really sucks because the series is such a high standard, and Fishman Island is just mediocre. So that's why it's number 9, and you know, one of them's got to be number 9. So glad we got it out of the way. Number 8 is gonna be Thriller Bark, and again, short saga, very short. It only comprises one arc. And it can get away with being called a saga because it doesn't really connect to the one before or after it. But Thriller Bark was an arc that didn't really like too much in the anime. I remember having to get second wind once the arc was starting to end and shit was getting good with the Kuma stuff. I remember getting second wind. And they got the 10th theme, the We Are remix, was really good, and that really was like, all right, I'm getting pumped on the series again when I was watching it for the first time. But I just remember just being bogged down by Thriller Bark. Like, just Gecko Morio was kind of annoying. Like, had a cool power, and but he was just annoying. I don't even know what else to say about him. He was just fucking annoying. It was just like, all right, Luffy can beat the shit out of this guy after he took down Rob Lucci and everything that happened in the series before. So like, just beat the shit out of this guy already. So it was just a struggle waiting for Luffy and that to all resolve. But I read it in the manga, actually, in my first manga read-through, and I actually kind of liked fucking Thriller Bark, excuse me. Actually liked the arc a lot more reading it in the manga because it was just a lot shorter in the manga. Like, in the anime, it comprises like 50 or so episodes, I think, and that's just a lot of time, all those episodes. But in the manga, it's literally like not even 4 full volumes. Like, I think it's 3 volumes and some change, or it might even be around 3 volumes. But like, that's just like, that could be one sitting if you got nothing else to do that day. So just banging out Thriller Bark. I thought it was a really fun story reading it in the manga, and the setting's really cool, like just a classic horror excuse me, classic horror tropes in the setting. Just like a horror island. Like, it's fucking fun. But again, it's a really short saga, so I'm not going to put it too high. And again, I don't know. I really do like Thriller Bark, but I don't love it as much as I like the other ones. Kind of like Fishman Island. But I will admit it's not as bad. It doesn't have the flaws of Fishman Island. It's just kind of like it's a cool arc. It was a fun little diversion, but nothing to crack the top 5 for sure. So, number 7. Really don't know what it is because, again, I haven't prepared this list before the video, so I gotta look back and think what my number 7 would be. Unfortunately, I think I do know what it is, and that sucks because, again, this is, I said in my last video, I really do like this arc a lot. It's a saga that comprises 2 arcs. And it's really making the New World look bad because it's got 2 of the spots in the bottom 3. But the Dressrosa saga, it's got to be at number 7. I played in my mind probably putting Alabasta a little lower, but like fuck that. I'm not gonna put Alabasta below Dressrosa. Okay, so I'm gonna say my piece on Dressrosa, and it goes against a lot of people's thinking because they read Dressrosa week to week, and it was a fucking slog. And like you can just visually see Dressrosa is a slog. Like here's Dressrosa. Like that's fucking a lot. Like this is like the whole series, and then Dressrosa itself is just this big chunk of it. All right, like it's fucking big, and not a lot happens in like the middle of it. So I can see reading this week to week must have been a drag, and I get that, but I didn't read Dressrosa week to week. Like I basically caught up right at the end of it, so I don't have that experience with it. And I'll come out and say Doflamingo is probably my favorite villain in the whole series. So like that's a huge plus for Dressrosa because from the very first time he was introduced in Jaya, like I was waiting to see Doflamingo in the series, and like I had heard because I was catching up while Dressrosa was happening. So I had heard that like the current arc in the story when I was watching One Piece for the first time was about Doflamingo. So I was like, I have this finish line that I gotta reach, and it's gonna be so rewarding that like I can finally get to watch this Doflamingo arc. And I don't think it really disappointed me. Like some great stuff in Dressrosa. Like the Coliseum, like it was a little bit long, I will admit, but just the way it introduced all the characters that were eventually gonna join the Straw Hat Fleet, which we don't know what's going to happen, but I will say this, like, Dressrosa is probably going to be really boosted in a lot of people's minds if the Straw Hat Fleet comes in and, like, impacts the story in a large way coming up in the future, because, you know, you had to introduce those characters at some point if Oda wants to put them in a meaningful situation somewhere in the future. So, Dressrosa just has the task of introducing all of these characters. And I remember hearing somewhere that if you just think of Dressrosa as 2 separate arcs, kind of, it's like a little bit easier to swallow. So like you have the beginning stuff with the Coliseum, and then you have the sort of the ending stuff where like they're taking on Doflamingo in the castle and the birdcage and stuff. That would be like excuse me, like 2 separate arcs almost. And I kind of do think of it like that because the beginning of the arc really doesn't, like, yeah, stuff does tie in, but like it is very distinct. Like you have the Coliseum stuff, which is like the big set piece in the beginning, and then you have the birdcage, which is the big set piece in the end. And then the birdcage is another thing that's like complained about a lot, and like I really have no defense for that. Like it was dragged out way too long. It was annoying. It was a cool concept at first, like okay, like if this guy has fucking strings, like yeah, makes sense that he just want to cage everyone in with him. So like it was cool, but just the way it was handled wasn't too cool. But the Luffy versus Doflamingo fight is awesome. The Law flashback is awesome. The Law and Doflamingo stuff is awesome. Zoro, fucking badass as usual. The Pika fight's not too good, but like just seeing Zoro fucking take that guy down was satisfying. I really like Kyros a lot. Rebecca, don't mind her too much. She's not a great character. Like she's no Vivi for sure, but like she's whatever to me. And then Punk Hazard's also part of the Dressrosa saga, which don't have too much to say about Punk Hazard because I really do like it a lot. I don't have too many like complaints about it. Fucking Doflamingo coming in at the end was cool. Law's introduction or reintroduction into the story was awesome. Him joining up with Luffy. The whole gender bender thing was a little crazy, but yeah, I'm not going to complain about that. The fights were cool. Law taking, I'm the cutting the gear or whatever in the machine. Great fucking shit. Monet, minor character, but pretty cool. Punk Hazard was just like, it was a really cool setting, how they tied that into the Akainu and Aokiji fight. So that was cool. It's not a great arc, though. It really isn't like, it didn't blow me away, but like it's good. It sets up the Dressrosa stuff well, and I don't have too much to complain about it. So yeah, Dressrosa is gonna go in number 7, and that's not because I don't like the Dressrosa saga. It's just because like every other saga, like once we get to number 6 and up, like it's all fucking great shit. And even Dressrosa to me is great stuff. So like, even though some of these things aren't cracking the top 5, like they're all phenomenal in my opinion. So yeah, Dressrosa number 7, number 6. Fuck. This is where it's gonna get hard. Excuse me. Number 6. Oh boy, this is difficult. I'm gonna put the current one at number 6, the 4 Yonko saga, just cause it's not done yet, and I can see the 4 Yonko saga being like in the top 3 by when it's over. And I guess I would include Zoe. I'm trying to think. Some people group in Zoe with the Dressrosa stuff, but like personally, I think Zoe goes better with the Whole Cake Island and Wano stuff that's going to be coming up. But if we have Zoe, Zoe's a great fucking transitionary. That's the word, yeah. Transitionary arc between, because you have this fucking massive Dressrosa arc. So then to go to a really cool setting like Zoe afterwards was really refreshing. And all the review, God, there was like fucking 5 or 6 weeks in Zoe where just every week the chapter had another big reveal, like, oh, road poneglyphs. What is the name of Momonosuke's clan? I'm drawing a blank on it. Whatever. Momonosuke's clan, they're the ones that did the poneglyphs. Raftel, all the stuff with Raftel, how the road poneglyphs don't even point to Raftel. The Nekomamushi and Inuarashi being on Goldie Roger's crew. You have Momonosuke being talking to Zoe and stuff like that. The stuff he says about Goldie Roger, like, oh, I met him, all that stuff. Questions being raised. You know, you got Raizo too, like this ninja we've been hearing about for a while. I think it's, God, I'm still trying to think of the name of that. Kozuki, the Kozuki clan, yeah. Kozuki clan getting brought up. That was cool. Hearing stuff about Wano, Kaido is looming in the future. Even the reveals with Sanji, Vinsmoke, like you get that for the first time. You find out why his poster says only alive. You find out that Big Mom is going to be like the next, or Whole Cake Island is going to be the next arc that we're going to be going to, and it's going to be a wedding. Just fucking packed with reveals in Zoe. So that was a great arc. And now we're in Whole Cake Island right now. It's just been a fun ride. Like for the, probably, like, I haven't been reading the series week to week for too long, but I can venture to guess that the climax of Whole Cake Island is probably the first time in a while that people, like, really were wondering, like, okay, what's going to happen in this? Because, like, just think about Dressrosa, for example. Like, we knew it was just going to come down to Luffy versus Doflamingo. We didn't know that he was going to go Gear 4th in it, but, like, we knew Luffy was just going to end up fucking beating Doflamingo. This arc, though, right before the wedding, you had no idea how that was going to go down, and that's just really exciting. And I'm just enjoying how it's playing out right now, so I'm not going to say too much more about it, but next is going to be Wano, which is Kaido's arc. Kaido is already looking to be a fucking sick villain, so, like, that could shape up to be one of the best arcs in the series in and of itself. And then in between that, we have the Reverie arc, which is something we've been waiting for, or I'm not even gonna say we, because like I haven't been reading the series week to week for too long, but the One Piece fans have been waiting for so long is the Reverie arc, and just big conference, world leaders sitting down talking, like shit's gonna go down. We all know it. So 4 Yonko Saga, as of now, is going to go on my number 6 spot, but that's going to go up. I know it for sure. I'm just going to wait for it to finish, though. Number 5. I'm going to put Alabasta at number 5. And, yeah, I love Alabasta. Just, God, I just have to put it below the other ones. And there's no knock against Alabasta. Probably the first, like, big fucking awesome arc of the series and Saga. Like this is the first time we really got like a saga where like every arc was building up to a goal in Alabasta, and then you get to Alabasta, and then it doesn't disappoint. You got Crocodile like fucking. Like, you thought Arlong was a intimidating villain. Like, how the fuck is Luffy gonna beat this guy? And he doesn't. He loses 3 times, and he fucking beats Crocodile. And, yeah, we all know how it goes. Alabasta, for a while, I've heard, was, like, the gold standard of One Piece arcs. And it really holds up. Like, great storytelling. Vivi, amazing character. People are still want to see her on the crew. One of my favorite scenes in the series is when they're putting up they got the X on their forearm. They're putting that shit up. I always love that scene in the series. Love the Luffy Crocodile fights. The poneglyphs are introduced, which is awesome because like that's one of the better points of world building that have been brought up in the One Piece story, and it relates directly to like what the eventual overall story of One Piece is going to be. Ties heavily to these poneglyphs. You get Robin's introduction, which was kind of like a shocker. Like, oh, she's going to be joining the crew? So, like, that was fucking cool to finally see her. Even though the anime spoiled it in the intro, but, like, whatever. I was kind of guessing she was going to join the crew, but, like, there was no way I could have known for sure because, I didn't know. The series didn't have a track record, really, of going in that direction. So, like, having a villain like that, I guess you call her, like, joining the crew. And they're, like, a really interesting character. Like, you really don't get what she's all about until later in the series, but like, excuse me, you know something's up with her when you first meet her, so that was cool. And really cool power she has too. The other arcs, Whiskey Peak, great short fun arc. Zoro taking on all the what do you call those guys, the bounty hunters. Zoro taking on all the bounty hunters was awesome. Then you get Little Garden, introduction of the giants, just the island itself, dinosaurs, just fucking cool arc. Then Drum Island, the Chopper stuff. Everyone loves that Chopper flashback. Don't want to be like a downer. I like the Chopper flashback. Let's get this guy, make sure he's showing. Yeah, like I like this guy's flashback a lot. I probably wouldn't say it's my favorite flashback in the series. I don't know what it is, but like the Chopper flashback like doesn't really hit me as hard as it hits some people. But again, still a great flashback, and Drum Island is a great arc. And then talked about Alabasta, so yeah, it really belongs in the top 5 for sure. I wish I could put it higher, but every arc above it, I like it just a little bit more. Number 4, I'm gonna put it's between East Blue and Marineford now, and I'm gonna put Marineford. God, it fucking hurts me how high I'm putting East Blue because there's gonna be no way I can justify it to make everyone happy, but we'll get there when we get there. East Blue will be number 3, but number 4 for now is Marineford. And God, what can I fucking say? Just fantastic story overall. Like setting everything up on Sabaody, they get there, shit goes wrong, they're fucking separated. Luffy's on this strange island of all women. He finds out his brother's locked up in prison. He's like, I gotta go there. Then he goes into the prison, and we have a wacky adventure where he's meeting all these characters and new characters like Ivankov and all the Newkama and all that crazy shit. You got Magellan, fucking awesome villain with a cool power. You have old characters getting reintroduced. You have Bon Clay, Mr. 2. You got Galdino, Mr. 3, and you got Buggy, the motherfucking clown, coming back and Impelled Down. It was an awesome arc. And then it goes straight, like no time for a break, straight from Impelled Down to Marineford, the biggest battle we've seen in the story so far. Yeah, like really no reason I have to justify it being this high. Like it's fucking awesome. It's just a roller coaster. Right when they get from Sabaody to the time they leave Sabaody for the next time, just a fucking roller coaster. Just shit going everywhere. Like you no idea what was gonna happen. It was just a big surprise that they were even gonna get separated. Like the whole war was a big surprise. Like probably not because that was foreshadowed, but like what happened in the war was a big surprise. Like Ace dying. Then the Luffy flashback in the post arc was really good as well. But again, just supreme storytelling. Like it's super exciting, probably the most exciting saga of the whole series. So that's why Marineford is going to go in number 4. Number 3, I've already said it. East Blue. East Blue. Um, you know how I'm gonna justify this? I'm just gonna say this is everyone's first. If you're reading One Piece from start to finish, like this is everyone's first exposure to the series is the East Blue. Like this is where you fall in love with the series. Most people, like if you read past the East Blue, and maybe you fall in love with it in Alabasta, but like that's probably pretty rare. Everyone falls in love, or everyone who has fell in love with One Piece fell in love with it during the East Blue, and like, you know, like that's special to me. I always have loved the East Blue. It's just so different from the rest of the series. Like once you get to Alabasta, like even the Alabasta Skypiea stuff it's kind of its own like early adolescence One Piece, but like this is the very early One Piece, and like even this is like different than the Alabasta Skypiea stuff. So it's a thing of its own, and the series is never gonna be like this again. So like it's just fun to look back and just like where we started, the introduction to all these characters. Yeah, the fucking storytelling wasn't exactly there yet, and the villains felt it was pretty silly in the beginning, but I love Baratier. Once you get there, I really started feels like the series starts to pick up and get good, and then Arlong Park is probably a lot of people's favorite arc in the series still, and Logtown again is one of my favorite arcs in the series. So yeah, it's hard to justify why I'm putting East Blue so high, but I always just love the style and the just how early One Piece is. I always loved it. The art never gonna look like that again. I'm not saying it's better, but like it's just a thing of its own that I always really love. So East Blue number 3. Number 2 is gonna be Jaya Skypiea. Jaya is my favorite arc in the series. I've already discussed it in the last video, but yeah, Jaya is fucking fantastic. Everything, I love everything in the Jaya arc. I'm not gonna say Skypiea drags Jaya down, but like I don't like Skypiea definitely as much as I like Jaya, but I still do love Skypiea because, you know, it's the prime adventure in One Piece. Like it's the biggest adventure they had. Like they're going to the sky, and they're taking on Eneru, who's probably my top 3 or 4 villains, I'd say. Like, amazing power. Just a fun adventure, though. A lot of people that read that one week to week, like Dressrosa, didn't like it because they felt like, oh, it's fucking useless. And a lot of people still say that today, like, oh, Skypiea is useless. But, like, no. If you're going to be a real fan of One Piece here, like, you got to watch or read Skypiea. Like, I'm sorry. It's part of the series. It's a good part of the series, too. Like, it's a fun adventure. And even some of the stuff with the poneglyph at the end comes in later, and like Eneru going to the moon, like that also comes in later. So there is some story connections that come into Skypiea, but like just take it on its own. Like it's a fun adventure in the sky. Luffy fights a fucking villain. Like if he again like every villain he kept fighting in that era is like, oh, if you thought the last guy was strong, well look at this guy. Like fucking. You thought no way you thought that guy was gonna beat Eneru until like it clicked. You're like, oh, he's rubber and Eneru's lightning. Like, and that clicked for me pretty early once you found out. All right, phone died there, so I'll just wrap up my thoughts on the Skypiea saga. Some shitty sections, not even shitty. There's just kind of some boring sections in it with like the fucking I don't even know what he called them, the priests of the upper yard, whatever. When they're doing the whole trials, I think it was like a ball one or whatever. It was some whatever stuff, you know what I mean? But Skypiea as a whole still was really cool. Ringing the bell, loved it. Always gotta love ringing the bell. Great scene. Luffy's fight with Eneru. The stuff tying back into Jaya. And just Jaya as a whole. Like, that's why Skypiea is number 2 for me. And when my camera died, I already wrote out the number 1. It's the Water 7 saga. The whole Water 7, I've heard it described as a juggernaut. Like, the reason why because like Jaya is my favorite arc, but like the reason why I put Water 7 higher than Jaya and Skypiea is because like Water 7 is the Sagas, the Water 7 plus Enies Lobby arcs, and like both of those fucking arcs just hit it out of the park. Like you could probably see someone's top arc list and like number 1 Enies Lobby, number 2 Water 7. Like they're both that good, and like to have both of them in the same saga, like it's just fucking, it's almost impossible. It's probably physically impossible to not put that at number one. So yeah, fucking, that's my list. All right, I'll talk about Water 7 for a bit. Again, like I said in my last video, haven't really looked into this arc too much recently, so I don't have a lot to say about it, but like Water 7 was like a pretty dark arc if I remember. Like a lot of shit was going on between the Straw Hats, a lot of bickering. So like it was something interesting and new. After this like grand adventure in Skypiea, we have some trouble within the crew. So like that was cool to see. The Galley Law Company, introducing them as these fucking hard-working shipwrights, and then coming in and being like, no, they're actually part of CP9. They were double agents the whole time. Huge twist. Really loved it. The Frankie family, Frankie himself. You just see that guy, and you know he was gonna be something more than just this guy on this island, and he becomes a crew member. So, I really loved Frankie from the very beginning of it. He's fucking awesome. He's building the ship. Like, yeah, you know you needed a ship, right? Like, it's got to be the cyborg Frankie. And he tied into the story really well. His flashback with Iceberg is really awesome. This is still all Water 7. Then Ennie's Lobby. You have the train ride in between. Fun shit, action stuff. Sniper. Fuck, am I really Sniper King? God, I almost blanked on his name, but yeah, Sniper King fucking coming in on the train. Then you got Ennie's Lobby. It's probably like the best, probably the best of the segments where it's just like, all right, it's gonna be Luffy and the crew fighting, because Ennie's Lobby is just like a fighting arc, and it's probably the best like fighting segment of the series. It's like, all right, you got these keys, and we all gotta get them, and it sounds pretty like predictable and like, oh, they're just gonna fight and whatever, but like the fights are fucking cool and like it's done well. The Luffy versus Lucci fight is fucking amazing. Just Luffy, the Gear 2 finish, the jet Gatling gun, fucking awesome. Introductions to Gear 2 and Gear 3 also happen in Ennie's Lobby. Cool moment. Zoro doing the fucking Demon Ashura thing for the first time, and fucking when's he gonna do that again? Him versus Kaku, I also like that fight. You get Diablo Jamba for the first time from Sanji. You get Frankie's first fight, just beating up fucking Fukuro. Oh, you get Monster Chopper for the first time too. A lot of firsts in Ennie's Lobby in terms of the combat, and that's probably why the combat just felt very fresh, because like every fucking Straw Hat was pulling out a new move, and God, just the Robin stuff, the whole Robin thing. Her flashback, how it ties into the story, Pluton coming in, God, it was done fucking well. And that's why you gotta put it at number one. And here's my list, recapping it. Fishman Island, no brainer, that's at the bottom. Thriller Bark, pretty fun arc, but short, whatever. Dressrosa, long arc with Punk Hazard. Really love it, but just gotta put these other arcs above it. Here's the next one. Can't even fucking read it. What the fuck? Oh, Yonko Saga. Yeah, it's not done yet, so don't know what to say. Alabasta was the gold standard for One Piece for a while. Deserves to be in the top 5. Fucking phenomenal. Marineford, great fucking roller coaster, action packed. Gotta love Marineford. East Blue, fucking. I just feel like I can't ever justify this, but like, I just love East Blue. It's gonna go in my top 3. East Blue, introduction to the story, gotta love it. Jaya Skypiea, Jaya, my favorite arc. Skypiea, fun adventure. Water 7, the fucking best thing that ever happened to the series. I wouldn't say that, but like, amazing saga. And yeah, that's my second video for this 2-part kind of thing I was doing for the 20th anniversary. Again, happy 20th anniversary to the series. Fucking amazing series. We all love it. That's why I'm on here talking about it, and that's why you're hopefully there watching this. So yeah, again, have a nice day, and that's all I got for you. Peace.